All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to our noon session. Welcome. We got more people joining by the second because obviously it's Saturday and things are a little more lax, right? So I want to go ahead and dive right in because we got to make sure we get these problems in. We got to make sure we find these strategies to ace that ASVAB. So welcome everybody, and let's welcome everybody that's brand new. If there's anybody here, if you're new to these sessions, let us know. If you're a returner, let us know. But what I really want to know, if this is your first time, what do you hope to get out of this? Like, why are you spending an hour out of your Saturday to be here? So type that out. Give it a second. Go ahead. You know, we want to start this off the right way, and I want to make sure I'm getting to know y'all because I'm not the kind of guy that's just sitting here like, oh, I'm just going to teach this and get on with my day. I want to know what you guys are looking to get out of this. So let's go ahead and answer that in the chat box there. Or you can grab the mic if you want to. What do you hope to get out of this? And anybody that's been here before, you're probably on the cameras there and you understand that, hey, it's not that's not so bad.
How you doing, Mr. Duran? I've been in the tutoring session since the very first one. I feel like it's a difference when you have an educator who really cares about the students, who really breaks down the problems, learning new strategies, feeling more comfortable, having that confidence. I feel like it's a difference. You know, you can't find that everywhere. So I feel like that's why I've been around since the first tutoring session. I feel like I've been more confident. I don't throw down the pencil. You know, I just give my best shot and go from there.
So it's helped you move beyond that frustrating part in the beginning.
It's just more of mental math. I just want to say, you know, having more confidence as far as, you know, being better at mental math. That's been a big difference as well. Because I'm so used to grabbing a calculator and then spending forever trying to do the multiplication or, you know, different things. So having that, I think it's Magoosh, or I think if I said that right, having that app has been really helpful. You know, so other than that, I mean, that's just kind of breaking the ice, but that's just how I feel. Feel like the tutor sessions have been really, really good. I'm not disappointed. I don't have no regrets about it. And anybody that's been here, that's your first time here, you know, you won't have any regrets, no bad decisions. If you don't know something, speak up. You know, don't be afraid, you know, because that's the only way you're going to learn. No wrong answer is a wrong answer. You don't know until you ask. So,
Brian, you're even the poster child for my company. I love it. That's what's up, man. And that was a really good, honest look into it. So anybody who's coming in right now, that was Brian just really, you know, expressing his honest experience with these group tutoring sessions. Because again, you know, my question to everybody that's new is, you know, what do you hope to get out of this? And I'm seeing right here that we have a newcomer, Carmelane. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing your name. You said it's your first time attending.
Hi,
yeah. You have the confidence to take the exam and pass it. And that's what this is all about. And so with that said, what I really want to say is, look, if you have questions, you can ask. I'm a teacher first, and then all this ASVAB stuff second. But the thing is, being a teacher means I'm going to be patient and do everything I can to make sure that the math makes sense in the way that you want it to make sense. All right. And really what that means is, again, you got to ask questions. If you don't ask, you won't receive. So I'm that kind of person that will extend themselves to make sure you get what you need. So all you have to do is ask. All right. So welcome everybody that's new. Here's some updates again. So the session recordings, again, only some of them are going to be uploaded to YouTube. I'm trying to upload more and more. As you guys saw this last week, I uploaded like 8 new YouTube videos. So if you're not on there, just get ready for this next slide. Have your phones ready because I'm going to have you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know a lot of people already subscribed, and thank you guys for that. The channel is growing every day. The practice test, again, if you guys are not in that practice test, it's only $5 still. I'm keeping it that way. I'm probably going to keep it that way for a while. So just take advantage of that practice test. It's on the website. Don't worry about going there right now. Just write that down, duranlearning.com. It's a practice test. I know some people in here have taken it already. 55 questions for the math, so both AR and MK. Video solution walkthroughs. I tell you what every question is from in terms of the topic. I break every single question down in the videos. That way, again, you can figure out where it is that you can get up to and what else you need help with. That's what it's all about, because you can't fight an enemy that you don't know. And so that's what that practice test is all about. Seeing where you are now so that you can give yourself the direction to pass. All right. So if you haven't had the chance to download that practice, or not download it, but register for it, get it, because it's online, timed for you, video walkthroughs and everything. So take advantage. And tomorrow's session, just $10, 2 hours. You guys know me. I'm going to make everything as affordable as I can. I hate the idea that you guys pay like $125 for some other people's classes. So I'm going to make sure that y'all get what you need with me without breaking your bank. All right. So with that said, like I said with the YouTube channel, again, everybody here, grab your phones. If you're on your phone for this session, do not worry about this. Just go to Duran Learning on YouTube and subscribe if you can. But just grab your phone. Honestly, it takes 2 seconds. Pull out the camera and then literally point it at the Scan Me. It's automatically going to pop up. You just click it and it takes you to YouTube. So if you want to take a quick second to do that, boom, just scan it really quick and subscribe to YouTube. I'm going to give you 20 more seconds here to get that done, and we're going to get started with the ASVAB stuff. So today's lesson, while you guys do that, today's lesson is about unit conversions. We're going to be focusing strictly on inches, feet, and yards, because once I show you how we can actually convert these units at first, how just converting units works in general, then you can apply that to everything else, like time, like metric units, like weight, like liquids, and all that stuff that you're going to see on the ASVAB. So today's session, we're starting it small to learn the basics. And tomorrow's session, we're extending it to even more problems for 2 hours to get all the other things in there, like, again, time, weight, volume, and all that. So thank you, Dandra, as well. You can only those who fare to fail greatly can never achieve greatly. I love that quote. I'm going to use that. So before we begin, guys, I'm a little more than your average teacher. I'm partly a motivational speaker as well. I teach teachers for a living. I'm a director of a company where I teach teachers. I run my own company, this right here. And I also am the lead contributor for a GRE company. It's an international company that has like 14,000 students. And I'm just part of those 3 things. So I just wanted to let you guys know who I am. Everything that I do is to help you succeed. So again, if you have any questions, I am here for you. If you are doubting yourself in any way, reach out to me. If you don't feel like you can do the math, well, that's what I'm going to fix that attitude today. All right. So with that said, here's my number 1 rule. My number 1 rule is that you got to make sure you try every problem, because if you don't try, you forfeit that opportunity to grow. I say this every single day, and I'm going to continue to say it. You cannot grow if you do not try. So my boys and girls out there, make sure you are trying, because if you're not in that mentality right now, guess what's going to happen when you're in the military, when things count? You got to be willing to fail to make that progress. So think about that while we get started here. And my other rules, we're going to talk about that. I'll express these, but pretty much just don't share the answers until I say go. That's it. So with that said, as always, type in hashtag Ace the ASVAB if you're ready to go. Let's get it going. Let's make sure that we're all awake here. I know it's probably West Coast for some of y'all. You're probably a little sleepy. The person here who's probably gone through their entire day is probably Chantel out in Germany. And then we have a bunch of people here from New Jersey, Virginia, New York, Florida. Ace the ASVAB. Let's go. Cordy got too excited. There we go, guys. Ace that ASVAB. That's what we're here to do. So let's get it started. We're going to start off with this warm-up here. So if you don't have a paper and pencil, just take a moment to grab it while I start talking about this. But again, today's session is all about unit conversions. And we're going to strictly talk about feet, inches, and yards. So let's start off here with this first one. We want to turn yards into feet. Everybody, how many feet are in every yard? You can use the chart too. Type it out though. How many feet are in every yard? I heard 3 come out. Again, use that chat box, everybody. How many feet are in a yard? Deandra says 3 feet per every yard. We had Cordy say 3. I think that's Cordy. Yeah. We got 3 feet in every yard. Absolutely. Absolutely. We see it right here. 1 yard, 3 feet. So everybody, this is the biggest question that we got to ask ourselves when we're trying to learn unit conversions. Am I supposed to take the yards and multiply by 3, divide by 3? Which way do I need to go to turn yards into feet? That's the biggest question. Do I multiply or divide by 3 to go from yards to feet? That's the biggest question. Tony says multiply. Angelina says multiply. Carmelane says multiply. Anybody else agree? We got 20 people up in here right now. I need to see more heads. Again, that confidence here, right? Even if you feel like you might be wrong, give it that shot so that you can confirm that and tell yourself that you're right or wrong and feel that. But if you're just waiting for the answer to appear, you never really get that experience of like, oh yeah, I got it right. Or oh yeah, no, I got it wrong. Why? All right, so we all agree it's multiply. And everybody, can somebody share? Do you have a particular rule that you use to memorize if you need to multiply or divide? How do you guys know that it's multiply? What was that to Darion? Also, that was just muffled. So does anybody out here have a rule that they've used? Right, Carmelane, yeah. Whichever unit is smallest or biggest. Exactly. And Deandra. So what we rule is, if you're going from a big unit and breaking it up into smaller units, you're going to multiply. Because think about it like this. If I have a whole yard, right? Let's say I have a whole yard like this. If you're breaking up a bigger unit into smaller ones, this is pretty much what happens. You're splitting the big thing up into 3 smaller pieces. So 1 yard is 3 feet. And so to go from a bigger unit to a smaller one, look at how you're always multiplying. Because the thing is, you're breaking that big thing up into a bunch of smaller pieces. So the rule is, from big units to small units, multiply. You multiply. And if you're going from a smaller unit to a bigger one, you divide. Because I'm saying, hey, how many yards is 3 feet? If I'm trying to go backwards there, you need to group. Because you need to think about it like this. It's every 3 feet is 1 yard. So you're saying, how many groups of 3 feet do I have? And remember, if you're grouping everybody, that's dividing. I'm saying, hey, how many times can I group 3 feet into what I have? And that's 1 time. So you're dividing. So from going from small to big, we divide. And so everybody, I want you to write this down. And once you're done writing it down, say, type in the chat box, got it. All right, type got it in the chat box. Once you got it, but I want to give everybody a second to write it out. So from small to big, we divide. That's the biggest thing right there. If we can get that basic premise in, we can transfer this talk from yards, inches, and feet into time, into metric units, into everything else that we need. Yeah, Tony, I'm going to try to upload this one later too. Yeah, the paid ones are my main priority because I want to make sure that everybody, 1 second, I got to mute everybody because there's a lot of feedback here. All right, so everybody, you're muted. Don't worry about it. I'm going to unmute it for you later. But yeah, I'm going to try to upload the paid one first because obviously people are paying for those. I'm trying to get those out. And the free ones, I'm going to, my team is getting to them when they can. Sweet. So with that said, let's talk about the problem here. 6 yards to feet. We said that we would multiply by 3. And so this makes it how many feet, everybody? Let's see what we got. I'll try to use that mental math too. There we go. That's 18. That's right. Right. Because again, when we look at this, we say, hey, look, we're going from big to small because yards are bigger than feet. So you got to multiply to break it up into those smaller units. And there you go. Now, if I'm looking from 60 inches to feet, quickly, everybody, am I multiplying or dividing? To go from inches to feet. And here's the table here, and here's the note here. I want everybody to contribute here. Everybody. I got a couple divides going on so far. Let's see if that's the consensus. Yeah, it's going to be divide. It's going to be divide because, again, inches are smaller than feet. Everybody, quickly, what number are we dividing by? Because remember, on the test, you don't get this. This is something that you want to memorize. You do not want this to be something that you need to try to remember. Nah, you need to memorize these no matter what. And yeah, it's going to be 12. So let's go from inches to feet. We're dividing by 12. 60 divided by 12, everybody, is what? Cordy, my man, it's number 1 right there, 5 feet. Yep. Cordy, you been practicing your mental math, boss? I muted you. Just give me a yes or no in the chat box. But it sounds like you've been practicing that mental math, man. Hey, that's what's up. All right, so there we are. So far, how are we feeling, everybody? Let me unmute you all so that way you can, or let me allow you to unmute yourself. How do we feel so far about the idea, the main idea that we have to think about it as big to small or small to big? How are we feeling about that so far?
Good.
Yeah, good. It just
Good.
Now I know. So big unit and small unit just have to multiply. I didn't never knew the difference. I always did the opposite.
See?
Yeah, that's what I did. I always did the opposite.
Got you. And that's the idea, guys. That's the idea. Just think about it in that simple sense, because once we start getting complicated with like other types of units and stuff, it's the same rule: from big to small, small to big. That's it. And then it just depends on memorizing the numbers for those conversions, like 3 feet in a yard or 12 inches in a foot, like things like that. But as long as you know those basic things, and then the idea that it's big to small or small to big, bet you're good. And then it's all practice up to that. So this is what I love so far that you guys are doing. You're getting those little things done to get the big thing taken care of. So let's look at this next warm up here. So there's also problems where I'm not gonna have you, because if you look at this before, this was pretty, like 6 yards perfectly, 18 feet is pretty. 60 inches, 5 perfect feet is pretty. But we're not always gonna be dealing with pretty numbers. So we got to think about the hard stuff now. 32 inches, that's not perfectly a number of feet. There's a remainder there that's gonna tell us, hey, we got some leftover inches that we could use. So for example, you know how if we were to say, hey, this person is 64 inches tall, that translates to them being 5 foot and 4 inches tall. And what's happening there is that we're gonna do that conversion, dividing that 64 inches by 12, but we're gonna take the remainder and leave it in there because we're only looking for the whole amount of feet that we have. Everybody, give me a yes or no if that makes sense. When we're converting from a bunch of inches to that bigger unit, we are essentially, again, dividing and getting that whole number, and the remainder, we just leave it. It's still inches. We leave the remainder as inches. Perfect. And if you don't get it, look, again, this is a good place to say that you don't get it. I am not here to judge you. So if you're still confused, Dominic, thank you for saying kind of, being honest. Thank you. So here we go. Let's practice it now. Let's see it come in action to see if it makes more sense now. 32 inches. If I'm going to feet and inches, everybody, am I multiplying or dividing? Quick, hurry up. Dividing, exactly. We are dividing. So with that said, let's divide. If I divide 32 by 12, how many whole numbers is that? How many whole feet is that?
1, 2. Wait, I got 2.67. So do I got to round that up?
Nope, you do not round. You only ask yourself how many whole 12 feet fit, and that's going to be 2, because how many inches is 2 feet?
24.
Correct. So here's the thing. Let me use a different color here to really show you what I'm doing. 32 inches is 24 inches with that remaining how many inches?
8.
Yeah. Here's why I did this. I did this because, I'm going to use black here. This translates to 2 feet. Because again, when you divide by the 12 inches per foot, yeah, that's what happens. We have 2 whole feet. And so that translates to 2 whole feet. And that's why over here, we're going to write 2 feet. And then what's left over? Well, we don't have a whole foot anymore. We only got 8 inches left. And that's why we're going to write 8 right here. So did I extend anybody's understanding with that?
Yes.
How so, Chris?
Because it's like usually I would do it like a super long way, trying to put everything together and just try to get the answer, rather than right now it looks easy and I could just break it down one by one and get it right there.
Exactly. And so with this, everybody, do you guys realize like how much mental math we need for all this to make this make sense? Quickly, mental math is the way to go with this, because you need to know how many times 12 goes into 32. Oh, 24, remainder 8, done. If you know that and you know the rule, this is how quick you can be. But it's not going to happen if you're still trying to do it that paper and pencil, like long way all the time. Knowing your mental math is the way to go here. So let's look at 14 feet, converting into yards and feet. If I'm trying to go from feet to this over here, what do I divide or multiply by? What am I doing?
You're going to
divide.
Yeah, we're going to divide here. Divide by what specifically?
3.
Exactly. And why are we dividing again? Because we're going from what to what?
We're going to smallest to biggest.
My guy. Hey, what's your name, boss? It says iPhone on your thing.
Ricky.
Oh, Ricky, what's up, boss? Hey.
What's up with it, man?
We're good, man. So, yeah, we're going to be dividing by 3 here. So that's what's up. We're going to be saying, hey, look, divide by 3. We're going small to big. And it's the same question that we're going to ask ourselves. How many times does 3 go into 14?
4.
4 times. Is there a remainder?
Yes, 2.
Exactly. So when we do this, we're going to say, hey, look, 14 divided by 3, that turns into 4. And again, this is going to be the number of yards. And remainder, 2. And that's the number of feet. The remaining number of feet. So our final answer is going to be 4 yards and 2 feet. Everybody, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Hey, Tony, you know what happens when you say it feels easy? You know what happens when I start tripping y'all up? Remember, these first couple warm-up problems, they're warm-up problems for a reason, because once we start getting to those tougher ones, you're going to be like, ah, crap, man, Mr. Durant, he's tripping today again. All right. So with that said, we good, everybody? We good to move on? Does anybody need to take notes real quick? Because remember, you can screenshot this. You can look out for the recording. I got you. Hey. Oh, and I gotta share a lot of cool things that's going to happen later on at the end of the session. Man, I got some exciting things happening this week. So let's go to this last warm-up here. I want to see if y'all can get this on your own. I'm going to give it 2 minutes, 2 whole minutes. I want to see if y'all can do both of these problems, but I want y'all to read carefully, and I want you to come up with your own way to do it. So I'm going to mute everybody, and I'm going to let y'all unmute yourselves after the 2 minutes. You can type into the chat box if you want to help each other out, okay? But what you cannot do, or if you don't want the help, just don't look at the chat box, all right? I'm going to count to 2 minutes here. Do your best. You can use the chat box to help each other out, but if you don't want help, don't look at the chat box. So starting now, go. And I will help in the chat box as well if you want me to. All right, and that's 5, 4, 3. What I want everybody to do is type out their answer for the first one only. For the first one only. 3, 2, 1. Type it out. And if you're stuck on that one, just say that you were stuck. But for just that first one, I want to know how many inches 3 yards is. Let's see how we got there. And if you were stuck, again, admit it. I'm not here to judge you. I'm only here to figure out where you are so I can take you to where you need to be. But if you don't reveal where you are, again, I can't help you. Again, my returners, you know that very clearly. If you're new, I really want to make sure you understand that I'm here to help out. All right. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead. Let's try this thing out. So you guys put in your answers. For the majority, people say 108. Some say 36. Let's see what that reasoning is so we can confirm it and give ourselves a pat on the back. or see that we're wrong and say, okay, what about where I was wrong do I need to adjust? That's the mentality you got to have. So 3 yards. If I'm going to inches, anybody, let me actually give the mic away now. Anybody, what is the way that you used to go from yards to inches, even though there's not a direct connection to that? Like, even if you didn't see that direct connection from yards to inches, can you go like an intermediate step?
I converted to feet first and then from feet to inches.
Right. So that is a very possible way to do it, right? Welcome, Chantel. So yeah, if you are confused on going from yards directly to inches, you can go from yards to feet and then feet to inches if you want to, right? So boom, let's go ahead and say blank feet first and then turn that into inches. Because if we're going this long way, I'm going to show both ways. I'm going to go the long way and I'm going to go the short way. All right, so let me mute everybody real quick. Boom. So just use the chat box moving forward real quick. So if I'm going from yards to feet, everybody quick, how many feet are in a yard? Yeah, we got 3 feet in a yard, 3 feet in a yard. And everybody quickly, do we multiply or divide if we're going from yards to feet? What was that rule that we said? What was that rule? Do we multiply or divide if we're going from yards to feet? That's what's up. We're going to multiply. Remember, if we're going from big unit to smaller bunch of units, we multiply to break it up into those smaller units. And if we're going from small to big, we got to divide to see how many of these fit into that. So let me just copy and paste this over here. All right. So with that said, I will multiply by 3 at first, multiply by 3 at first to get the feet, which is 9. And then that second step to go from feet to inches, everybody, what do I multiply by? Because I'm going from big to small. But what do I multiply here? Dang, Tony's on fire right now. Yup, he's saying 12. Tadarian, 12. Chris, 12. Yup, that's right, my guys. Let's go. Yup, times 12. And then you should know that mental math. Everybody, what's 9 times 12? What is 9 times 12? That's 108, right? That's 108. So that's one way we could get the answer. That's one way. And I know that a lot of people know it to be that way. And I commend you. You're like, that's good. You know how to do it. But what I'm here to teach you is I'm here to teach you the faster, more effective, more efficient way to do it. Because remember, on the ASVAB, you don't got all the time in the world, man. You don't have all the time in the world. You got to make sure you're doing this as fast as you can. So here's how you do it. Everybody, let's say we didn't even have this. Just forget we have that for a second. If you're thinking about going from yards to inches, you remember how I always tell y'all to analyze first before you actually do it? Analyze. Think about it. If I'm going from yards to feet, I got to multiply by 3 every time. And then if I'm going from feet to inches, I got to multiply by 12 every single time. So everybody, if I'm multiplying by 3 and then multiplying by 12, what's the same thing as multiplying that by? If I'm multiplying by 3 and multiplying by 12 right after, that's the same thing as just multiplying by what? Not 15. We're not adding them together. It'd be 36. It'd be 36. Yeah, because think about it like this. If I multiply a number by 3 and then multiply by 12, it's the same thing as multiplying it by 36. So you can do it directly. You can do it directly and say, again, look, since whatever times 3 times 12 is the same thing as that whatever times 36, if it's the same thing, then I can do this in one step. So I could just do 3 times 36 and call it a day. And just call it a day. So you could do 36 times 3 like this, or you can do it in your head. Because here carrying, it just takes a little while. But you know how I break it down, that mental math, I'm going to give everybody a little hint into mental math. If you're doing 36 times 3, you could just do 30 times 3 plus 6 times 3. Because this is 90, and you're doing this in your head. This is 90, and that's 18. And you add those together to get 108. And you can do it in your head faster than you can do it on paper. So we're going to have more mental math sessions in that boot camp course I'm going to come out with in a couple of weeks. I'm going to put a lot of mental math in there to make sure that you got that broken down in your head, all right? But to save time here to get to all the problems, we got 108 right there. Chris, that's right. You did it that first way, breaking it down to the two procedures. That's good. Now let's look at this next one here. 216 inches into yards. So it looks like to get to inches, if we're going the long way, inches to feet, what do we multiply or divide by, everybody? What are we multiplying or dividing by? Oh, look at that. Some of you guys are already thinking about that faster way, right? You're thinking about going directly over. Because if I'm going from inches to feet, you divide by 12. If I go from feet to yards, let me just erase this for a second. If I'm going from feet to yards, I'm dividing by 3. So if I'm dividing by 12 and dividing by 3, that's the same thing as dividing by 36, if I'm trying to go straight up with it, right? So for me, at least mentally, it's probably a little easier for me to divide by the 3 than by the 12 or 12 by 3 instead of doing the whole 36. So either way, we can do it though. So if I'm dividing 12 into 216, I can get the 1 there, then get the 6 right there, and I can get the 18. I can get 18 feet. And then 18 feet, if I'm turning that into yards, well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by that 3 to get me 6 yards. But again, we can go directly from feet, or sorry, from inches to yards. We can go directly by just dividing by that 36. Because again, if you divide 12 and divide 3, together it's the same thing as dividing by a total of 36. It's like saying, hey, if I times 3, then times 2, it's the same thing as timesing by 6, because 3 times 2 is 6. So you can think about these little mental processes for yourself to get these things done faster. So how are we feeling right now? Do we understand how to do it at least one way right now? And if we're struggling, are we struggling to learn the second way, or are we just struggling to learn it at all? Like, I want to know that about y'all right now. How are we feeling about this? Do we feel like we got both methods? Do we feel like we got one, trying to get the other? I didn't even know you can use emojis. Hey, that's cool. Oh, I see it right here, reactions. Yeah, they just added that. Hey, Juliet, thanks for being honest. We're going to make sure to increase that, okay? So just think about what it is that's confusing you so that we can tackle that later on. DeAndre, right. So you know it one way, just trying to learn it the other way, right? It just takes time. It just takes time. It's new to you, so it's still kind of hard, Angelina. All right, no worries. Hey, I got you. I got you. You're struggling, Jonathan. Hey, no worries, man. You're here. That's the first step. So let's move forward here because I'm going to help us out in breaking these down, all right? So let's talk about this first little mini problem here. We're going to do this first one together, then I'm going to time y'all on the second one. So practice number 1, converting the U.S. customary length. So like feet, inches, yards, miles, all that stuff. So a plank of wood is 94 inches long. What is its length in feet and inches? So what are we trying to do out here? Oh, King, I saw that you raised your hand, boss. Go ahead and type in your question. I'll answer it. I got you, man. So when we're looking at this and we're trying to go from inches to feet and inches, what was that rule that we said earlier? Type it out in the chat box, guys. What did we say that rule was for us? If we're trying to go from feet, from inches, or small, to feet and inches, big. What is it that we got to do? Yeah, we got to divide. Exactly, we got to divide. So let's go ahead and think about that. If we're going from small to big, that's right, Darian. We got to divide from small to big, exactly. So let's set that up. We got 94 inches. And the goal is to get the length in feet and inches. So blank feet and inches. So let's think about it. Let's think about it here. How are we supposed to go from inches to feet? We said divide by 12. But because here's the thing, everybody. Is it going to be a clean division if we try to divide 94 by 12? Is it going to be clean? Is it going to be a perfect number? Or might it be like with a remainder? Right. So it's not going to be clean. It's going to have a remainder. What do we do with that remainder again? Let's talk strategy here. What are we supposed to do with that remainder when we see it? Right, we leave it in inches, right, Deja? Exactly, we leave it in inches. Exactly. So for anybody that's joining us a little later, hey, no worries. Make sure you stay because there's a lot of good things to come here, right? We got to do this. We want to convert inches to feet in inches so that we can talk about it and actually feel that number. So if I divide 94 by 12, that's going to give me, how many times can 12 fit into 94? This is where that mental math comes in, right? This is where that mental math comes in. How many times does 12 fit into 94? All right, so for the majority of us, we're saying 7. One of us said 9, but it's A-okay. It's 7. It's going to be 7. Because what is 12 times 7, everybody? What does that get you to? So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, we got to practice that mental math. We got to practice that mental math, right? I'm going to send an email out actually on Monday about mental math with the apps and everything that you can download. That way everybody can have it. So I'm going to send that out on Monday. But yeah, it's 84. 94 divided by 12 is going to be 7. Because again, 7 times 12 equals 84. And then a remainder. What's the remainder going to be, everybody? Yeah, the remainder is going to be 10 because again, 7 times 12 is 84. We're trying to get to 94. So what's left over? That's 10. So the remainder is 10. So here's what these numbers mean. This 7 is going to be feet. Because again, that's how many groups of 12 it is. How many groups of 12? And every group of 12 is a foot. So that's 7 feet. And what we have left over, well, that's just the number of inches that we had left over. And so with that said, boom, we got 7 feet and 10 inches left over. So Alexis, hey, I'm glad you could join us. I know you were feeling a little sick. I'm sorry I didn't get to respond to that because I was going crazy, but I'm glad you were able to make it. So here, we would know to convert if they tell us to. So the question would literally say, hey, this is what's going on. Give me the answer in feet and inches or in yards or on this or in that. Like they will directly tell you. So it's up to you to pay attention to get that down. All right. Exactly, Darian, exactly. Yep, you're starting to get it, boss. All right, so give me a yes or no if you're ready to start to try out this next one on your own. I'm gonna give us a minute and a half to try it out. But again, I'm gonna be here to help out in that chat box if you need any assistance. Let's get it done, right? That's that attitude that we need. That's right. And King, I see that you're here, man. I'm proud that you can make it to the session, man. Let me know how you're doing too, because it looks like your connection's cutting in and out a little bit. But let me know if you're still with us. So here we go. A minute and a half. 3, 2, 1, go. And we still got 20 seconds here. So even if you're lost, I want you to point out what you can understand. That's the best way to start. Even if you get a problem wrong, even if you fail, you guys ever heard of the concept failing forward? Yeah, do your best to fail forward if you're gonna get a question wrong. And what that means is figure out where you get stuck. Be able to say, hey, I got stuck because I don't know blank. I don't know how to convert this to that, or I don't know what the problem is asking me. But you got to be able to identify what your issue is so that I can, again, point out what that solution is. All right, so you got to be real with yourself. So 4, 3, 2, answers, go. What do we got? Chantel coming in first there saying 5 feet and 8 inches. Let's see if anybody agrees with her. Let's see if anybody thinks that she is incorrect here. All right, looks like you get that support. Looks like you get that support saying 5 feet and 8 inches. That's what people feel like, right? Is anybody here lost in this problem here? And again, it's perfectly okay to admit it. It's okay here. All right, so D'Angela's saying, yeah, you just don't know how to convert. Hey, that's A-okay. So let's get it done here. All right. So the problem says Timmy measured in at 68 inches in his last physical. What is Timmy's height in feet and inches? All right. So this is how we're going to start. We need to figure out how many feet and inches 68 inches is. So I'm going to highlight that right there. And this is the goal. Now, what do we know? 1 foot quickly in the chat box equals how many inches? Correct, 12 inches. So this is what we need to do. Because we're going from small to big, everyone, what's the rule? Do we multiply or divide if we are going from small to big? What is the rule? We divide, right? And so everybody, whether you are, using the camera or not, I want you to just do it with your hands really quick. Become an Italian for like 5 seconds. Again, if we're going from small to big, we are seeing how many times this small can fit into that big. So that's division. That's division. If we're going from big to small, we are multiplying because we're going to break this big thing up into a bunch of little pieces. That's why we multiply. But if we're going from small, like inches, to feet, we're seeing how many times feet can fit or inches can fit in. And so we divide into it. We see how many groups of it can fit in. So just food for thought there, guys. So with that said, 68 divided by 12, what is the whole number going to be? This is where mental math comes in, right? That mental math. It fits in 5 whole times with the remainder of what? Right. And when you think of a remainder here, that's the remaining inches. That's the remaining inches. So that's 8 remaining inches and 5 whole feet. So you got 5 groups of those 12 inches that fit in. So 5 whole feet that fit in, but then you have that remaining 8 inches because you can't fit it all the way through. So if you wrote it down a different way, just to make sure I show even more ways for y'all, 5 feet, that equals, again, 5 times 12, that's 60 inches. And then you have 8 that are remaining. If you bring those together, that's what makes the 68 inches. That's what makes it. All right. And I know people may not have been able to see that, but there it is. We'll zoom out a little bit. 68 inches, because 60 and 8 make 68, and 60 is 5 feet. So, time practice. Let's get it. This is how we're going to do it now. These are test level questions now that I'm including. So, here's the thing. This is a real look at what it's going to be like on the test. I'm going to give 1 minute and 20 seconds for each question. We're going to break it down and go over it after the fact. But everybody, if you guys scared, does that mean you shouldn't try? I'm going to release the mic. I want somebody to be that hype man for everybody else. Somebody who really feels really adamant about this. Grab that mic. How do we do it here when it comes to practice? What's up, Alexis? I can barely hear you.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I'm just thinking.
Oh, I got you. Somebody grab that mic. Well, yeah, somebody who's been to these sessions. Alexis has been there. Brian's been. Be that hype man. Like, how do we do it here when we do these practice problems?
I feel like with the more practice, when it comes to the practice problems, the more practice you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So if you don't practice it, you're not going to get anything from it. But it's just learning those steps, learning those, those easier methods. That's how it works with the, what I'm saying, with it, doing this practice.
Practice make perfect. Perfection.
You got to put the work into it.
Put the work in, man. Put the time in so you get the results out. Exactly.
Like one of my favorite quotes I heard, without struggle, there's no progress. So without trying, you're just gonna fail yourself.
Exactly. Anybody else? I see Chantel and Deandra there waiting.
Just try.
That even if you'll get in
That's cute. All right, we're meeting everybody again. So here we go. Time practice. We're gonna get 1 minute 20 seconds per question. Do your best. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Thank you, Deandra. It does not matter if you're right or wrong. It only matters if you can grow from being right or wrong. That's all I care about. Can you grow? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Minute 20 seconds. Go. Be as quick as you need to be. Identify how to do it, and then take the time to actually calculate. So do it in phases. Analyze first, plan it out, then do. Go. Four, 3, 2, 1, and time. Answers. Go ahead. Even if you got to take a guess, go ahead. Take your guess. What's the answer? What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? Go, go, go. Yeah, give that answer, even if you're not sure. This is test time. So when worst comes to worst and you got to take a guess, take your guess. What's your answer here? We got a C coming up, a B, A, C, a guess. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. This is a raw look at the test. So you got to be willing to admit how you actually feel. Good. So another B, another C in there. So it looks like we're split here, and it looks like some B's and C's. You got a C coming in. You got more B's coming in. So it's a fight right now, right? It's a fight between B and C. It's a fight. All right, all right. So let's go ahead and let's break this thing down, everybody. Let's break this down. So remember how I said there's 3 steps to every problem. It's analyzing, then planning, and then doing. All right. I want everybody to take a quick moment, screenshot this or take a picture of this. Analyze, plan, do. That is the 3-step process for every problem. That's the 3-step process. Analyze. What that means is I am reading the problem and I'm simply trying to understand what the question is. That's all I care about. I don't care about numbers. I don't care about anything I don't recognize. I'm only caring about what I can recognize, what I see that is obvious to me. So watch this. I'm going to read this through and I'm going to say, hey, look, 3 dressers are placed side by side. Everybody, that first sentence, yes or no? Can we imagine that? 3 dressers being placed side by side. Can we imagine that? Chantel says, obviously, yeah, right? That's something that we can definitely imagine in our heads. All we're saying is we're combining 3 desks or 3 dressers. Okay, one dresser is this wide. Notice I didn't read the number. Another is that wide. The third one is that wide. The reason I don't read numbers, and take this note, everybody, this is the key to math. Don't worry about the numbers until you know what to do with them. One more time. You don't care about the numbers until you know what to do with them. You have no idea, or you probably know this to be true too in your life. How many times you read a word problem, you see a decimal, and you're hung up on the decimal, and you're not even worried about the rest of the problem. You're like, oh, crap, what I got to do with this decimal, man? What's going on? How often does that happen, right? And you could laugh to yourself because it's true. It happens. But the thing is, you can't get hung up on the numbers. It's about what the numbers mean. So there we go. And the question reads, how wide are they combined? My party people, what's that key word in there? What's that keyword in that question? Well, Chantel, you're telling me what to do with that keyword, but what's the actual keyword? Combined, right? Yeah, it's combined. Yeah. How wide are they combined? Whoops, excuse me there. Combined. How wide are they combined? And everybody, combined means what? Again, Carmelane, you had that typed out before I even asked the question. You guys are sneaky. I love it. So yeah, we add them together because combined, if we think about that in real life, that just means bring that stuff together, add it all up. So that translates right here to adding. So what are we adding is the question now, right? That's the question. What are we adding? And when we look at this, it says, okay, how wide are they combined? They, what does they mean? Oh, they're talking about the dressers. Dressers. One of them is this wide. Another one is this wide. Another one is this wide. How wide are they combined? What are we combining again? The dressers. Adding. Add the dressers. That's what we're doing. So here's what I'm going to do, everybody. I'm literally going to go ahead and just take, hey, look, dresser number 1, dresser number 2, and dresser number 3. I'm going to line them up and add it all together. 6 feet, 11 inches. Going to take that, check. Going to take the second one, 6 feet. So this is number 1. Number 2, 6 feet, 10 inches. And then I'm taking the third one, 4 feet. Did I say feet? 6 feet, 4 feet, and 5 inches. And so with that, we said add, stick to the plan. We said add, so we're gonna add. So I'm gonna organize this and I'm just gonna add this all together. I'm gonna do it in blue because like I said in blue. Okay, so we're adding and let's go ahead and get it done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate it. I'm gonna add my feet first and then add my inches. I'm gonna keep it simple for me. I'm gonna keep it really simple. Muy sencillo. So 6 plus 6 plus 4 feet, everybody. What does that add up to be? Yo, Chris, spot on, bro. Spot on. Spot on with that comment. But yeah, this is gonna be 16 feet. And then if I add all of this up together in purple, all of my inches, I bring those together, 11 plus 10 plus 5 inches, what is that gonna give me? Right, we're gonna have 16 feet and 26 inches. But there's a problem here, right? Is this written in the proper form, everybody? No, it's not, right? Angelina, is definitely not. It's not written in that proper form. But what do we know we can do with those 26 inches? Yeah, for sure, divide. Angelina, are you using an iPad with the webcam far away? That's pretty dope. Let me know what you're using. That's pretty cool. You'd be pretty far away. But yeah, we're going to convert it. We're going to divide that, right? So when we break this down, 26 inches, everybody, 26 inches, when we divide, it's a computer. That's cool. That's pretty cool. When you divide that out, what you're going to receive is 2 feet with the leftover 2 inches. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take those additional 2 feet and put it with the other feet. So everybody, how many feet do we actually have? Yeah, we're actually going to have 18 feet. We're actually going to have 18 feet. And then we have those remaining 2 inches. So let me not circle that. Let me actually just write 18 feet and 2 inches because that's going to be the final answer. 18 feet, 2 inches, which gives us C as the correct answer. So even if you got it right or wrong, that's not what's important to me. What's important to me is that we can grow. So yes or no, did you grow from this problem? Tony, that's what's up. You understand now? We're saying yeah. You're saying yeah. Big time, of course. This is good. I'm telling you, if you can do the little things right, you can do the big things exceptionally well. This is how you succeed on a big scale, everybody. You got to do the little things exceptionally well so that you can do the big things even better. Do the little things exceptionally well to do the big things great, to be great when the time comes. Hey, that's what's up, Deandra. That's right, Wakanda forever. Let's get it. So, next one, minute 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it done. This is the last one of the day. Go. Angelina, stop yawning. Go. Finish the problem. 10 seconds here. Get ready to take a guess if you need to take a guess. 5, 4. Type your answers in. 3, 2, 1. Share. What do you got? Got a couple A's there. We got a C. We got an A. We got a C. We got an A. Guessing B. We got an A in there. Let's see what else we got. We got A's. We got more A's coming in. All right. Let's see what we got. All right. So for the purpose of saving time here, because I do respect your time, I want to try to get you guys out of here by no later than 1:05, 1:10. So let me go ahead and I'm going to take over here and I'm going to show you how I would do it. Excuse me if I don't go over every single little minor detail, because again, I want to respect your time, but pay close attention. I'm reading this the way that I would on an actual test. Tamara made a scarf for each of her 9 friends. I'm already imagining that. She made a scarf for 9 friends. All right, cool. Together, that might be a key word, all together, the scarves had a total length of 41.4. Okay, so they gave me what it's all added up. If each scarf was the same length, how long was each scarf in inches? Okay, so here's what I learned. I'm talking about Tamara who made 9 scarves. The 9 scarves, hey, it added up to that much. So the total of all of them is that much. And so if they're all the same size, how much was each one? So before we even read the inches part, think about what the question is asking you to do. They tell you what the total is, and they want you to find out how much each one is. What do you got to do, everybody? If they're giving you the total, and they want you to know how much each one is, what do you got to do? What does it sound like intuitively you got to do in your head? Divide, right? It's division. That's what we got to do. We got to break this up by dividing. So here's my plan. I'm going to divide by 9 because we have the total length and we want to know each scarf. So we're going to divide by the 9. But after I divide by the 9, everybody, what must I consider? What do I need to do after that? Right. Times 12, Chantel, because we have, and Darion there, perfect. Yep, we're going to multiply by 12 here because, again, we need to convert from feet to inches. And so we will multiply by 12. So that's what we're going to do. Divide by 9, then times 12. And we're good. And we're good. So let's do it. Just did 4.6 times 9. Well, because you probably took a guess that A was the wrong answer, because A is the wrong answer. So let's do it here. 9 going into 41.4. You're going to say, hey, that's 4 times here. So that's going to be 4.6 because 9 goes into 54, 4.6 times. So this step right here, we get 4.6 feet for each scarf. Now, the thing is, you might feel like this is done, like you're done, it's safe. But the thing is, you've got to pay attention to the wording right here. It says it needs it in inches, not feet. Inches, not feet. So you got to take that next step to convert from feet to inches. Do you guys see how easy it is, or it can be, if you plan it all out first before you actually do the math? Again, analyze, plan, then do. That way you don't have to go back and forth between thinking and doing, thinking and doing. It's hard to think and then do, think and then do. But if you break it all down at first and say, hey guys, here's the plan. We're gonna do this, this, and this. Got it? All right, got it. Set. And then you go do it. It's easier when you have the plan. So boom, now we're gonna multiply by 12. And then you just grab it. 12 times 4.6, and you're good. Let's get it done. 2 times 6 gives us 12. Carry the 1. That's 7. Then you continue on by dragging that 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. You add it together. 552. Since over here we had that decimal place, you bring that decimal back. And so the answer is truly 55.2. Everybody, 55.2 what? 55.2 what? Inches, exactly. And this is, again, you just relating it back to the problem. Look, here's my biggest piece of advice when it comes to word problems. When you're done with a word problem, actually talk about the answer and what it means. Like, talk about it. Talk, like, legit, like, just talk about it. It is that easy. If you take the 5-10 seconds to just say it out loud or think about it in your head, it takes you a lot further because the quality of the problem that you're doing is a lot higher. So you're saying, yo, 55.2 inches is the length of each scarf. Done. And now that we broke it down like that, we're good and we can feel good about moving on here. So, everybody, I want to know, what did you learn from this session today? So, as promised, I'm not going past 110 here. I want to make sure that y'all feel supported here. So, I want to know, what did you learn in this lesson? I'll give you guys a couple seconds to really think about that and get that thought out. Yeah, how do we feel about this? Because I think Armand, I think your mic went out, or your video went out, and that's fine. But yeah, you said you didn't read the inches. I need to learn mental math, Dominique. Hey, look, there we go. That's a good little place to start, right? Alexis, know how to convert, take the time to convert, mental math converting, right? This is really all about knowing the basic rules. Like if you're going from, and here we go. Get ready, everybody. If we're going from small to big, what do? Small to big. Divide, booyah, right? Small to big, divide, right? And then big to small, you multiply. Exactly. So Carmelane, you said you did it the other way and still came up with the same answer. I just want to confirm that with you. We'll go over that in about 5 minutes, all right? And last one here, Chantel says, I always struggle with inches and feet because we don't use them. LOL, we use centimeters and meters, but you help me understand how to convert and know when to divide and multiply. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Because I'm glad that you guys are growing. That's really what this is all about, guys. That's what this is all about.